Force for Good class series. To learn more about this ongoing series, please visit Tibet House US.
And therefore, you can't, even though they say in Tantra, in Unexcelled Yoga Tantra, you could attain enlightenment in a single lifetime. You could attain millions of lifetimes worth of evolution in one lifetime by compressing time in a certain super high-speed way. You can do that, even though they say that. That's meaningless unless you already feel you're stuck in an infinite field of time. In other words, the compression of this vast time doesn't mean anything if you just think that you're only here in this one life. So not only the sutra system, not only the Theravada and the Nirvana does it require for one to be successful in it, that one has a feeling of the moment as being something that contains all of the universe in it. And the universe is not just a spatial thing, it's a temporal thing. So it contains not only all of the spatial universe, but all of the temporal universe, that is, eternity as well as infinity. It's not a moment for like a moment for a materialist where it's an escapist rehearsal of that non-existent deep sleep analogy unconsciousness that they expect, that they fantasize, that they imagine is the deep reality that will embrace them upon dying. You follow me? Which is the unrealistic fantasy of the materialist. And it's unrealistic, just like monotheistic deity is unrealistic, because there can never be evidence for such a thing. There is no evidence for it. Whoever found that somebody became nothing? They can't even find nothing itself, much less somebody in the nothing. All they do is they don't find a consciousness in a dead body. Great. That doesn't mean they found a nothingness in the dead body even. This means they didn't find the pulses that they found there when the heart was beating. And the brain was showing electrical. Although the brain's energy is not just handling electricity. The electrical is just like a little thing. It's like if you put EEG electrodes on top of a big sewer pipe, and it detects all kinds of pulsation inside what's the pipe. Doesn't mean that there's only electricity in the sewer pipe. There's a lot of other crap in there, which the electrodes are not aiming to get. So our brains are not just dealing with electricity. They're dealing with the much more powerful thing in the energies of the universe, the brain. Really. Strong force, weak force, gravity. It's all, the brain deals with all of it. Not that well. When your mind is out of your brain, it functions better, according to the Book of the Dead, but I've already told you that, right? The minute you die, you're 9 times more intelligent. So it would really be great. You could get a Nobel Prize or anything if you could somehow keep working in your lab after you were dead. But nobody knows how to do that. Oh, I feel so healthy. So, okay, so those 2 things are necessary. Then they get into Tantra. Then there are the action Tantra, which are rituals, where you shape yourself in a certain way. Then there are performance Tantras, where there's ritual and also internal visionary thing. Then there's Yoga Tantra, which is more internal. And those 3 are very more lengthy. They take a lot more lifetimes. They're more calm and peaceful. And they're more gradual way of getting down toward the unconscious and beginning to, but they all have visualization and so forth. And then you get the Unexcelled Yoga Tantra. Then Unexcelled Yoga Tantras have creation stage and perfection stage, or perfection or completion. A lot of people, books you will read, they call it development stage. And I'm sorry, but anybody who calls it the development stage doesn't know what it is. Because there's a word for development, and it is not the word utpatti, or kyeba in Tibetan. Kyeba and utpatti means to create something, to give birth to it. It doesn't mean to develop it. There's a word ripening, develop, which is in the level area of ripening. And you will see this. If you see the video I got put you here, just to give you a clue, this one will show. Now wait, okay. Okay, I never put a video in a PowerPoint before. You guys are really... Now you think nothing is that. Wait, oh, what is this? It's the Big Bang. Watch. This isn't a different mandala, but it gives you the idea. Doesn't matter. There it goes. Then, wait a minute. That's wind, which means energy, pure energy. Then ram, there was a yam under that, you didn't see it, but there's ram, then that's fire. That's heat. Then vam, and that is, Tibetans mix up B and V, that's water. Then lam, that's earth. And they are actually four goddesses, four Buddhesses. Then on top, that's earth, it's a square golden thing. Then on top of that is a Vajra cross, and then a hum on top of that, blazing hum, and then the hum creates, this is like, they did it outside, it should be around embracing all that, but it's a little something, but it gives the idea. Then these are the 8 cemeteries, which are the samsara, actually, the ordinary world. They're 8 shmashanas, or charnel grounds, that's what they're called. Then you have this field of energy inside, then the Vajra cross, then, which is another way of combining 4 elements, then the thing, then brum, 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 the sound of creation. Then brum, from brum, it's more complicated, but it does it quickly, the Mandala palace. But this is a different universe, therefore, that means. Now, inside the Mandala palace, then there are some deities who are going to pop up there. Actually, this mandala, the Kalachakra mandala is inside this mandala, actually. These guys are the foundation. These guys are creating the foundation inside the Amaravati Stupa in South India, in which then the Buddha first created in this era, the Kalachakra mandala. And never mind, we'll stop this now. You don't need these guys. This is Yamantaka, the killer of death. Or in post-Arnold world, the Terminator, Exterminator. Series 8 Terminator, who gets rid of the earlier series. Death being the Terminator, right? And then the exterminator of the Terminator. That's what Yamantaka means. It's a really brilliant, beautiful vision of Buddhahood, of infinite life Buddhahood as the death of death. Because once death dies, then even death can die. Then death works for life, you know. In fact, it's a beautiful idea, really it is. I really like it. Yamantaka. She really likes Yamantaka. I'm just kidding. Looking really serious. Look at that. Okay, so so I do too. So that's why it should be called creation stage, because every creation stage sadhana, which means somehow accomplishment or means of accomplishment, or performance, I like to call it, or script for performance script, but really it's a performance, begins out of the void, and it's very important that the void be like a realm filled with energy, like that flash of light that you saw. It's the clear light of the void. It's the void with all those stars in it, which indicate the presence of the clear light. It's a vast space with stars in it. It's not a dark, blank space, a fantasy of something, what nothingness might be like. Because actually nothingness is not a space, right? It's nothing. So that's considered very, very important that when at the beginning of a tantric sadhana, when it goes, may all become voidness, or may all be voidness, shunyata bhavatu, it means Tombanya du dur in Tibetan, It means that everything becomes transparent in its pure potential state, pure, malleable, mutable state, to be shaped. So there is no nothingness, so it is not a going into nothingness. There's a feeling of the ordinary world that was there, sort of seeming solidly around you, and you as an ordinary being within it, disappearing, but not disappearing into a blank state of nothingness, disappearing into a clear light of the void, into a diamond-like realm of infinite energy. That's what, and then the sadhana is where the imagination creates a new universe. I'll never forget that I'm a senior teacher in a very important initiation I was fortunate to receive many years ago. It's one of those kind of things in the middle of he used to speak really, really quickly in Tibetan, and like that. He talked like that, like a New Yorker on Tibetan, and very, very quick speech. But the one thing he kept repeating, he said, if anybody tells you that this mandala is in this place or that place in the world, they don't know what they're talking about. Because these mandalas are not in the world somewhere. They are another world. And for example, that's where the Kala Chakra is more explicit, because in Kala Chakra you have the outer Kala Chakra, you have the inner Kala Chakra, and you have what's called the alternative Kala Chakra. And the alternative, or the other Kala Chakra, outer, inner, and other. So the other Kala Chakra means the other universe, but all of the unexcelled Yoga Tantra mandalas, all are a different universe. So they're not in anywhere, but the doorway to them is in every atom, everywhere. In other words, wherever you open that doorway, because you know about it, you're initiated, you enter that tradition, and you have that kind of powerful imagination which you have in power. And it's not that you have that from birth necessarily, or because you're a great artist, or you're Picasso or something, or you're a great yogi. You have it because you have steeped your mind deeply in the subtleties of the royal reason of relativity, that there is no non-relative core in anything. Everything is empty and devoid of any non-relative core. And you're so steeped in that you're aware that everything is pure relational. So therefore you're completely self-correcting at all times. When you see that chair as if it is a massive fact, as if it possesses the massive facticity of the chair, the intrinsic referentiality of the term chair, the thing in itself of chairness, etc. However different old naive metaphysicians, East and West, have projected into that chair. When you see it as without that, you see through the chair. And then you realize that then it becomes transparent. And it's just a kind of temporary formulation of infinite energy, actually. And you might relate to it as a chair if you want, but you'll never fasten on it as a chair in itself. And you won't fasten on yourself as a thing in itself, as a you in yourself, which doesn't mean that you won't exist. It means that you become capable of feeling you are a Buddha. Or you can develop what's called the Buddha confidence, or the Buddha pride, or the Buddha stability. Instead of your ordinary mind of like, either narcissistic, I think I'm omnipotent, but I know I'm not, so I'm scared witless and very pride and paranoid. Or whatever our normal sort of level of anxiety that we normally live with and tolerate, waiting to be stepped on or worried or whatever. You know how we are. We're all like that, right? Especially when we feel a little good, then we're waiting to get spanked. Or arrested in this culture. So, that's a different thing, but I'm not talking about that right now. So may all things be void. That's what it is, Now, Kala Chakra, especially, I love it because Kala Chakra is the most graphic, explicit affirmation of the Buddha's continuing presence with us all. It's right there in every name of Buddha, it's not emphasized in Theravada or Mahasangika, the different versions of the dualistic Buddhism, the Nirvana and Samsara are a part type of Buddhism. It's not there much because they want to think that when Buddha went off into parinirvana, he left. He went into a different place where the world is not. And they wrongly translated in modern times parinirvana as final nirvana, where it should only be translated as thorough or total nirvana. That's what it should be translated as. And so actually nirvana swallows samsara. Actually, when the Buddha leaves his body, he swallows samsara, but he doesn't leave it. But in the Mahayana, it's totally there in the name of Buddha called Triyadvajna, which means the knower of 3 times, the awareness in 3 times, the knowingness within 3 times, the intuition of 3 times. Meaning, one way you can tell whether you're a Buddha or not is if you think you're in the moment, you're not Buddha. Unless that moment includes every single infinite past moment that you are ever in, and every conceivable possible future moment that you can be in, and not only yourself, but everyone else with you. So Triyadvajna means present in all 3 times. So that is why Buddha, although to us it seems like he attained nirvana and broke his bodhisattva vow, he became a Buddha and left us whatever.
This video was brought to you in part with the generous support of the Tibet House US membership community. To learn more about the benefits of Tibet House membership, please visit Tibet House US, including invites to special trips to study Buddhism up close and personal with Robert Thurman during his annual geographic expedition trips. Trips in 2018 include Mongolia and Bhutan. To learn more, visit bobthurman.com.